everyone. So we're working on the innovative alarm clock. I'm Soraya.
Jabari.
I'm Jed.
Chris.
Eric.
So
For our accomplishments, we pretty much set up basic.
well, actually, let's talk about the main idea. It's like that slide.
Okay,
there we go. So the overall idea of the project is an alarm system that wakes up both your body and your mind. It does this by you're creating a band that goes around your wrist, and on an app we're creating, you input the time, and for example, 6 a.m. And within about an hour of 6 a.m., the Otis component is going to start checking your sleep cycle. And when it checks that you're in the peak time of your sleep cycle to wake up most peacefully, it'll set the alarm off. And the alarm is in the form of a vibration and an alarm sound. That'll come from the bracelet. And you'll be like, oh wow, well this is annoying. So you'll want to take it off, or you'll want to disarm the alarm. So in order to disarm the alarm, you'll have to pick up your phone, walk across your room to a board that's mounted on the other side of the room, which contains an NFC tag and a field communication tag. And you'll have to register your phone with the NFC tag. And up will pop a puzzle in the app. And the puzzle will be customizable the night before. You could choose easy, medium, hard. It could be a type of mathematical puzzle, or it could be more like shapes and everything. And you'll have to complete that puzzle in order to disarm the alarm. So in that way, it gets you out of your bed and also gets your mind woken up by completing the puzzle.
Alright, so what we've done so far is we've basically pretty much established like a basic user interface for the actual app itself and for the puzzles. So we sort of have like a game plan of what we want to do and how we want it to sort of be laid out, so you can go through the menus and set things up the way you want to. And we have a couple like preliminary math puzzles that you can do. We'll also have like an introduction that you guys can see. We also have like a prototype for what the risk component is going to look like. We also have like a drawing and stuff that you guys can also see, so you can get a visual of what we're envisioning. And we also have a concept model as well. So.
Just 1 second, please. The suspense will make it worth it.
Oh, it's there. All right, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, I have just an Android emulator running. So we can launch the sort of basic app that we have so far. And so the purpose of the actual app component will be a couple of things. It's going to be to communicate with the risk component. So it's going to have part of the functionality with regard to actually tracking the sleep cycle and telling the alarm when it's actually supposed to wake up the user. In addition to being the part that's going to recognize the NFC tag and display the puzzle and everything like that. So right now, I can show you just sort of the basics of what we have, sort of a normal user interface with the action bar on the top, on the home screen displaying when your next alarm is set. Going over here to the alarms, just a basic list of the alarms that exist on the device. Like you can go and you can edit one. And currently there's just the basic settings for what you have for alarm, whether or not it's enabled, what the time is, and also a label that you can put on it. And I can't see the buttons. There we go. Okay. And so, I mean, it actually works in that it can set your proper alarm time. It will generate an alert and pop up the puzzle when the alarm's actually supposed to go off. I'm not going to show that right now because we have to wait for an alarm. But I can show you just now to trigger it. Okay, so just like a basic idea of what a puzzle might be. In this case, it's just like a simple math puzzle that would pop up that you'd have to do a few of in order to get it to be disabled. Now I have to do math. I misread it. It's at an angle, okay? And then it'll be disabled. So in actuality, that wouldn't happen until you actually like register the NFC tag with the device, but we don't have that currently. We don't actually have the NFC tags that work with our phones. But that's the basic idea of how the app would work. Jay, would you like to take it away with your thing?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris Avery. Not really. Okay. I guess I don't think I need to do it. But basically what we got here is the hardware risk component. Right now it's hooked up to an Arduino with some of the hardware that's running on it. Basically what it can do now is it can receive commands and it interprets those commands to do certain functions. So your phone is going to be what is telling it to do whatever it needs to do. So, you know, if your phone says it's time for the alarm to turn on, it'll send a command to the wristwatch and say alarm on, and then the alarm will turn on. So kind of not very exciting, but like you can see the alarm gets turned on now, the command is received, and it's a buzzer and a vibrating, you can turn it off. There's also commands for starting the sleep tracking and stopping the sleep tracking, updating the preferences, like you know, if you want to adjust the volume that it's gonna, the alarm's gonna go off and things like that. So basically, this whole thing is gonna be. Is that the next slide? Yeah, I'll wait until I can talk about how it. Okay. The whole thing is operating off Bluetooth, low energy. So, how many of you guys have heard of the Arduino? Good amount. So, Arduino is what we're going to be basing this project off of, because it's basically really small and uses Bluetooth low energy, which is the protocol we're using for this. For obvious reasons, it's going to be very low battery power, so we want this wristwatch to be able to last a long time. It's also a very small form factor, so Arduino makes sense. And it's going to be communicating with Bluetooth low energy through your phone. So some of the more recent phones are the only ones compatible. But yeah.
So this is the basic concept of our wrist component. It'll be some kind of like a watch band or maybe an a Livestrong band, where it would just go around your wrist and it would be able to stay on comfortably for the night. And it would have a second component that can screw in, well, for our prototype we're planning on having it screw into the actual arm wristband, and you'd be able to place components inside of the shell out of each unit.
Alright, so our next steps are putting everything pretty much together. We have like the alarm and the vibration set up, we have like the puzzle and everything, but everything's not connected and in sync with each other. So we're hoping to eventually just get all of those together and everything sort of work fluidly, and then the project will essentially be done. We're working on getting the sleep cycle sensing all set up. That should have like an accelerometer, and so that's going to be in there, so it'll be able to judge the proper time in which to wake you up. We're going to finish working on the hardware stuff. We're going to get our Arduino in whenever it comes in and wire that up properly. And we're going to also continue working on finalizing the official user interface and puzzle design so that it looks really nice.
So yeah, thank you, Goldschmidt, Morthy, Sean Sullivan, and RCOS members. Any questions?
So, have you thought about integrating any of the smartwatches coming out, or a Happy Band, or anything like that, instead of just your hardware?
No, we haven't, because we're eventually looking to possibly sell these for a very, very low price. So maybe, but yeah.
I think they're really trying to solve two different problems. The smartwatches are more like tablets and multifunctional sort of thing, and this is strictly for sleeping.
What stops you from taking off the band?
Nothing.
The thing is, it's still gonna be
Is it gonna
being
be
vibrating. There's no way to stop it from being vibrating unless you get out of bed.
If you really don't want to get up, like there's ways around it. It's gonna be annoying.
Originally, the idea was to have the band be more like plastic and a lock on, so you couldn't take it off. But that was a little too cool.
Some ethical concerns.
So you said it wakes you up at the optimal point in your sleep cycle. So like say you have an 8 a.m. and you need to be up at 7. Does that like wake you up within 30 minutes of like that time zone or something?
We're planning on having it so you can set the time before that it will look for your optimum wake time.
Okay.
So if you really just want to set a regular alarm, you could just say like 0 minutes and
Yeah.
1 minute, set the clock.
So if you set like 30 minutes as the maximum time to wake you up, at 6:30 it will start checking when is the optimal time for your sleep cycle, and I'll see at what point you are and see if it should wake you up now or wait a little bit and then wake you up.
Yeah, if it doesn't find the optimal time, we'll just wake you up exactly at 7. Yeah.
So I saw you had other alarms other than just waking up. So you can turn off different features like having to go to the board and solving the puzzle, and just have like a regular alarm.
Yeah.
Because I've been one of the alarms
figure all that.
fast and have to go back to my phone.
Turn it off. A little inconvenient.
Yeah, we're trying to make as many options as possible so you can customize it the way you want it to, and then have the very extreme option of the whole waking mind, up, and body. Any more questions?